Luke 1, verse 59 through 66. When the baby was 8 days old, they all came for the circumcision ceremony. They wanted to name him Zechariah after his father. But Elizabeth said, no, his name will be John. What? They exclaimed. There is no one in your family in the generations before you by that name. So they used gestures to ask the baby's father what he wanted to name him. He motioned for a writing tablet, and to everyone's surprise, he wrote, his name will be John. Instantly, Zechariah could speak again, and he began praising God. Awe fell upon those who were in the neighborhood, and the news of what had happened had spread throughout the Judean hills. Everyone who heard about it reflected on the events and asked, what will that child turn out to be? For the hand of the Lord was surely upon him in a special way. There are many moments in our lives where our faith is put to the test. As we get older, our faith tends to mature as we move from what the Apostle Paul says, from milk to meat. We become able to endure more, persevere a little bit longer, hold on to God's unchanging hands just a little bit longer. But there are times when most of us, young and old, get tired. And our relationship with faith is marked only by the movement of our feet, but the passion has left our hearts. Relationship expert of the 5 languages, love languages, Dr. Gary Chapman would say that your love tank was running on empty. You ain't gave up yet, but every day seems to be a dragging reality. I believe this morning that Zechariah, John's daddy, who was shut up from questioning the angel's word, and Joseph, young Joseph, stunned at the move that God would choose him and his wife to bring in the Savior of the earth, would add that their faith and love tank were running a bit empty. The Bible tells us, though, that they were righteous men. So that tells me that their relationship with faith had become a bit stale. They had become fixed on moving in emotion, in religiously for God, but they stopped believing that God could do the same thing for them that they believed he could do for everyone else. I'll say it again, saints. They stopped believing that God could do the same thing today as he did yesterday. Can you turn to your neighbor and ask them, what is your relationship with faith? See, most of you won't admit, but see, me and religion have been doing this thing together for so long. We've been together for so long that I know the exact words to say. I know the exact scriptures to recite. We've been stopping, but we've stopped believing that God can still do the same thing that he did yesterday, today. But I've stopped today, Dylan. I've stopped today at the Luke for this Christmas experience in the name of Yeshua to remind you that we don't serve a stale God. His blood still runs warm, and it reaches to the highest mountain, and it still flows to the lowest valley. So in this season, let your Elizabeth, let your Mary declare that today, that what we're naming in this season season, what the Spirit is birthing in each of you this season is going to be different from what it was in the previous generation. Eyes have not seen, eyes and ears have not heard what God is doing in this season, in this generation. He's a restorer of faith. He's a redeemer of passionate devotion. He's a filler of love tanks. They call him Yeshua, the Savior of the world.